OBS has reset all my audio settings, so I they can now hear me. I'm gonna pull up uh, you now, and hope we get this right here. All right, Vadrona, say something, please.
Hello!
Oh yeah, they can definitely hear you now. Alrighty, let's
Is that too loud?
not too loud, just louder than I was expecting.
Okay.
So no, all good. Let's go ahead and do that intro again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the wrap-up episode of Summer League Now. Thanks for being here. 3 weeks after League has ended, we have had a chance to reflect back and analyze kind of the league, and we can come back to you with some league results. We can go over who the top teams were. We can talk about some fantasy results, some predictions from earlier in the season. So. Um, Great. Looking forward to chatting with, of course, Padronis, your other host for this podcast all season long. Say hello.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Awesome. So, thanks everyone for being here. Padronis, how are you doing? Just Mario, League, or otherwise?
Everything is pretty good right now. I've been playing a lot of Mario, actually, much more than during the league, which is sad. But it was a really good league, and I enjoyed doing the podcast episodes that we did get through. And I believe it was just like the two kind of introductory ones, and then we had, some live interviews at pace. So I don't know if we'll put together
I,
anything
I,
with
I, I
those
might I
or
might try
not.
to toss together like a clip
But
show. Let's just toss a short little
yeah,
clip
it
show
was
out of
a
that.
little thing where we went around with the camera to people, but
Right, right.
that was some of you know I was in a chat with like Avatar, aka Connor, earlier, like in Beef's chat talking about it. So yeah, and the Summer League, huge success yet again. I think we have to start there. Um, in terms of not only the runners but the uh, people running it themselves. I we haven't talked about like, oh, what are we going to talk about when you go live? Yeah, whatever. But as I'm thinking of this now, like I really want to give a big shout out to kind of in no particular order, Ringo, Alaris, Kaiman, THags, and Saxdale, and then of course the hundreds of runners who signed up for the draft and actually scored some points. So we had a lot of people. I think we had a bigger fraction of people score points than in last year's league, although I don't have the exact statistic. But I was looking at the overall spreadsheet here, and like it just seems like a lot of people had a great summer of Mario, and that's what it's all about.
No, I completely agree. I think my captain, Elisa, said it very well. She said it's a great, motivation. That's what the league is. It's supposed to be just motivation to get out there and do some runs, or maybe learn a new
Yep.
category, or just meet some Mario friends, whatever. It's a great. It does a combination of things, and each of those just kind of build the hype all season long. So no,
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
I love that there are teams and there are captains, and I feel like now you're gonna have like some teams that are like consistent year to year too. We'll talk about that when we get to some of the results. But yeah, I mean, I just personally on a on that level, I had a great league. I PB'd in the kind of three main leaderboard categories: 16, 70, and 120. And so it had been like years since I had done 120, but I picked it up and completed another one, and now I'm a little bit motivated to do some 120, and I've never actually said that before. So, um, pretty
That's
excited to actually
cool.
dive into some Mario. On a personal note, I got a PVM, a Sony professional video monitor, so I now have just
Wow.
super clean setup to play Mario on, a dedicated CRT essentially. So, um,
That's that's so overkill.
it's so
So
overkill. Yes.
I do want to say, like, if anyone was messing around with the PVMs at pace,
Hmm.
like you can tell they're really crisp, but they're also like huge and they
Hmm.
look like battering rams. So like
Yes.
I
Yes.
wouldn't like, you know, buy one on a whim.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's a
yeah,
pretty
yes,
big
yes. I
investment.
was completely PVM pilled by Bailey, and yes, there's no real reason you would need one. Like I had a CRT before.
Yeah,
I was
you
on a
got
retro. I was on a retro tank
totally
before. Uh,
PVM pilled.
but this is also a nice size because I had a short story, and then we can certainly, I think, move on to more important things. But I had a kind of just consumer CRT before that I hadn't played on for years because it was just kind of too big. It was like a 23 or 26 inch. Like
Hmm.
it was kind of too much for me. So like I finally got rid of that. The PVM I just got is 13 inches, which I feel like is just the perfect size for Mario. I have it on a table so it stands up just perfectly right at eye level. Like I'm super happy with my Mario setup for the first time in years or whatever. So and like I said, previously I actually ran on Retro Tank and I thought it was fine as well. So I'm
Yeah.
open to basically however people want to run, and some of these, whether your setup is fancy or not so fancy, yeah, just happy you're playing Mario. So. Um,
Well, that's fantastic.
that's fantastic. So let's. I did want to talk about there were a few community updates I want to mention, just like we did in kind of the previous episodes. There aren't too many, so I think we can get by them pretty quickly, and then we'll just dive into I think the results. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, first update I had here was from Bailey, who mentioned to me that her next drop is on Monday, and I believe she mentioned it will be primarily console bundles. So you can ask her exactly what that means, but I believe next drop will be Monday. So a shout out to Bailey. I don't think I have the URL for her store active. Maybe someone in chat can drop that if they happen to know it. But she wanted me to mention that. Zeus is hosting their 70-star tournament right now, and they are just getting into the, I believe, final matches of that, like the final 4 or 5 matches. All of those are supposed to be scheduled for this weekend. They are like in the process of being scheduled like today and tomorrow, so we don't actually have when they are going to be on the uh, when they're going to be just yet. But make sure you follow ZS44 on Twitch because the tournament is going to be wrapping up this weekend. If I can pull up the bracket real quick and see who we had at the end here. It looks like we have Sebexander and Leproxy match coming up, and we have ZJ64 versus Nanist. It's Me Corey versus Gerbated all need to be played. So yeah, it looks like we have maybe 6 or 7 matches left to go. So definitely just follow ZS44's channel. It's been a great tournament. He started with 32 runners in a double elimination tournament. It's been an insane number of matches. So just shout outs to ZS. As any tournament organizer knows, it's insane to try to schedule that many people and things. So shout outs. Two more announcements I got here, just kind of reminders things. Get your Pace hotel. If you're going to Pace, the hotel block is opened up, so you can go ahead and give the call to the Sleep Inn, which is I think the normal one we kind of everyone who's gone to Pace is familiar with. That's within walking distance of the venue, is right nearby, and is everyone has stories about the Sleep Inn in Laurel. So that block is open. Make sure you get your hotel. There's also another block, but that hotel's like miles away. So if you have a car or something, or you're renting a car, maybe that one's good for you. But if you want to be nearby, definitely look at the Sleep Inn. And I believe you have to go ahead and give them a call to get the block that Pace has. So um, yeah, sounds good. I have all my rooms and all stuff all booked. I've got my flight booked. I'm ready for Pace. It is in less than 75 days. Does that sound insane to you?
That does sound really insane. I
Yeah.
not least because it's quite soon after the last one, but
Right,
also
right.
because it kind of has the feeling has lingered a little bit and it's kind of just gone away sort of recently of
Right, right,
that
right.
pace and there's always already another one to look forward to. So, I know from GSA's perspective, they were saying like, yeah, we know it's like a bit soon, but we wanted to have this one pace summer in May, which is
Hmm.
when SGDQ was, and they decided not to overlap it, so
Right,
they moved
right.
it to July. And the November one was just so they could get another one in this year. But I was also thinking about it from a perspective of like the overall attendance and stuff because I think this summer one was a very unique set of circumstances where everyone somehow made it there. I don't think it'll be
Yes.
quite the same,
Right, right.
but it'll also be um there'll be some new people there and then
Right.
a lot of old people returning and maybe it'll be like about the same size or maybe even a little bit smaller, which I think is
Right, right.
actually one of the better features about Pace is it's still small.
Oh no, I
Relatively, which it's growing and then that'll change, but it's small right now.
I completely agree, and we've mentioned this on some of the comps for some of the races on this channel previously. Is that I completely agree that the pace. might have a different vibe. Just if fewer people show up, or just it's the winter vibe, or even just the fact that it's in winter means there are not going to be as many like daylight hours out, so it's going to be harder to just hang outside for longer with people and that sort of thing. And so it's I think a lot of different things that go into it, but I'm totally okay. I don't think we should try to just be having like the exact same trip every time, the exact same thing. We should let each one kind of be organic and be what it is, and let it, based on the people who show up and kind of the season and everything. So I'm totally okay with that. I'm really excited to see what it can be. And like I said, I think we should learn from like our previous experiences. It's like I think we're getting really good at knowing all the Laurel restaurants and the places to hit up and things and like how to do that. So I think
Yeah.
we can use that
Okay.
knowledge. But yeah,
Before we go too far down that tangent, I want to say like we can have more pace podcasting some other time, but I think we should get into the stuff that we're here for,
I
which is the
completely
summer league
agree.
results.
Let's go ahead and without
We also
further
have
ado. Without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our first team, the winning team, the Young Bucks, Oat Slice's team. Shout out to the champions. Um, I think
Can we
I'll.
get some Drakes in chat for Young Bucks from the mud? There you go. Just had to bring some hype for
No,
like
that's
two
that's the
seconds.
proper excitement. You see, I can't bring the excitement the way just other people can. So we got the Drakes and chat coming out.
What? Add. Hold on.
Yeah,
How do I how do I add a 7T emote? Can I
I
do
I,
that? Do
I
you
could.
have it enabled for moderators? Because this is criminal. Like you
Uh,
should be fired from the community. You should be canceled. You should be unpersoned
it's because I
for
only have.
not having Drake.
I'm sorry, I only have
What
better
are you
TTV.
doing?
So
What
yeah.
are
Uh,
you?
if you want to be my
Oh
7 TV
my
mod, you are
God.
allowed to be
Guys
that.
of cringe, man. Except that won't even autofill to an emote, but
You,
that's
you,
okay.
I
Another day, another day, another time. We will have the proper 2023 Zoomer pictographs and iconography
you know
for all
what?
the young viewers to enjoy. But
Patronus, you are
today is not this day.
you are allowed to be my emote mod. You are now just got a promotion, so it's now rests at in your hands for next time. Um, Oh, yeah, because I don't have a lot of these and they don't work on mobile and places, so I mostly just see the text most of the time anyway. So moving on, we can get back to that some other time. Shout outs to the Young Bucks from the Mud. I'll just go ahead and say I think a lot of people were like, oh, Wholesome Chunguses are kind of going to walk away with this. They're in the lead the whole time from the start. They maintained it. They did an excellent thing. And the Young Bucks came from out of nowhere and totally just dominated. So absolute shout outs. And there's people I also wanted to shout out here, people who PB'd in every main leaderboard category, 0, 1, 16, 70, and 120. It looks like we had Oat Slice and Wicco do that here, which is incredible. I'm totally impressed by that.
Absolutely impressive. Not least because of the high finishings of Pie Golds and Oat Slice and Wicco, but we had all but one player score points, and they all scored above 1,000. That's really cool. Probably a defining feature of this team. The only one who didn't was Salt and Ginger, who, God rest his soul, is living life, and I think he's doing just fine. But would have been cool to see Salt. Everyone else, though, carrying the point load, and we have big finishers from Pie Golds and Oat Slice. Oat Slice, I have to say, also did very well in the last league. He's one of these players who really puts in the work when it comes time to lead by example. So huge shout outs to him and for leading this team to victory because as we might get into, it was a very narrow margin and it kind of took everyone by surprise when all of a sudden things closed and they were the champions. So this was a little bit of a last second um, coup of the reigning champion of the wholesome chunguses.
Exactly. Speaking of the wholesome chunguses, I think we can move on to
Well, do we
team
want
number
to
two.
bring in Oat Slice though?
Oh no, I think we should talk about the top teams first to kind of get a feel for how the top teams placed
Okay.
and finished in the competition, and then we'll bring in Oat Slice. So we want to know who the competition they Oat Slice won over is as well. So why don't we talk about a couple more teams and then bring in Oat Slice for the winning team interview?
Sounds good.
Because I feel like the story is incomplete for context to bring them in if we don't talk about the second place team, the Wholesome Chungus is ahead the whole time, kind of, and had this uh, just dominated over everyone. I think most of the league. I think people were really impressed with, especially Soul. Um, just kind of I think getting PBs from
Nicholas
the
was
start.
the top player in the league.
Right.
Sol was number 2, and Rhino was number 5.
That is
So
an
this is
insane
some
team.
amazing drafting from Mash, by
Yeah.
the way. Like whatever the final result is, second or first, like probably the actual like GM of the year,
I,
if there was such an award.
seriously, because even if you look back at the Young Bucks, like the top four is a 6, 7, 12, and then gets into like
Yeah.
36, 37.
Well, Oat
So
Slice had to carry a little bit, as
yeah.
you're showing here. I mean, Pie Gold's man, 16,000, great. But I mean, neither of them, like Rhino, is still better than or placed above Oat Slice and Pie Golds from the Young Bucks from the Mud. So this is like huge draft performance from the top three. And then it drops off a little bit to 38th for Turtle Hippo, and then a bit more for Blackwall, Big Cheese, Shadow Bear. But like, honestly, this is really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Ironically, Mash himself could have probably won it had he done some 70 or 120 star, or
Ooh.
Alaris had done anything other than 16 star as well. So
Oh,
like,
dang.
if you want to blame anyone, blame those two. But it shows that like the league is a great motivating factor for the newer players more so than it is for the older players. Even though like you might think of them as better draft picks based off of their history, it's usually the
Oh,
newer
right.
players who are currently in that um, first big improvement arc that are the perfect draft
Oh,
picks.
I completely agree because we know that like that difficulty arc for SM64, it's you're shaving off fewer and fewer seconds as you get better and better and better, and so PBs become harder, and so just, the best players are going to get lots of points if they PB, but PBs are fewer and far between. The better and better you get at the game, so there's a nice happy kind of medium range where you get people are getting points and improving at a nice consistent clip. So. I completely agree. Let's go ahead and talk about the third place team, and then bring in Oat Slice for the interview here. So, but shout outs to the Wholesome Chunguses also. Oh, I guess I want to shout out the people who got PBs in all the categories. Nicholas and Rhino getting 0 star, 1 star, 16 star, 70 star, and 120 star PBs during the league. Incredible. All right,
Yeah,
Peggy
awesome job.
23, third place, taking the bronze medal here. And you can see top teams or top players: Salimbra, Meep Jeep, and Peggy the Loca. Also, Batterfly, all scoring more than 10,000 points for the team, ranked third, ninth, 17th, and 29th. So just getting a dominating performance there.
Yeah, huge from Peggy 23. Salemba, number 3 in the league. I believe the top 5 in order were Nicholas, Sol Erica, Salemba, Mauyer, and then we had Rhino, followed by Pie Gold's Oat Slice. Meme Jeep at number 9, Peggy the captain at 17. Lots of output from the captain in 120 star. I believe he actually scored the most 120 points out of everybody, which
Oh
is
wow.
super cool. And also, I have to give a shout out to the legendary Japanese runner Karen, who you might know now has a 137.41 second place. But I didn't realize that when this league started, his PB was 138.44. He improved his PB by over a minute during the league
Whoa,
and
that
actually scored like about 9,000 points.
That's insane. Also, shout outs to Beeve for the raid right now, 29 viewers. I appreciate it. Beeve,
Let's
we'll
go.
let's go. We will get to Beeve's team in a little bit. So, um,
Yeah, shout outs to Beeve.
shout outs to Beeve. What else do we want to? Oh, of course, the shout out to Battlefly for the 5 category PB. Love to see it.
Huge.
Um, yeah, something I again very jealous of all the people that can get in their 0 and 1 star some stuff in. I didn't get it in this season, so um, very impressed. Okay, so now we've talked about the 3 teams, and we can see third place scoring 91,000 points, second place scoring 101,000 points, but the Young Bucks running away with 102,000 points. Let's go ahead and bring in Oat Slice for the interview with the winning captain. Hello, Oat Slice. Can you hear us?
Yo, what's good?
What's good? How are you
Hey,
doing? Congratulations on captaining the and drafting the winning team for the SM64 Summer League 2023. How do you feel?
Hey, yeah, it was awesome. Uh, just before I say anything, just huge thanks to everyone that went into setting this up and running it through the 2 months that it was on. It's genuinely like my favorite event of the Mario 64 calendar. So I'm
nice.
always really excited to get to captain it. And yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, like that last week. So I think we were down about 30k points behind the Chunguses with a week to go. Every single night there were like 8, 9 people in the voice chat just doing 120, practicing,
Wow.
doing runs. It was nuts. Like we
That's
were we
crazy.
were grinding so hard. But yeah, it was
Well, it paid off.
yeah, it came down to the line.
It,
Sorry, what was that?
yeah, well, I said it absolutely paid off in the end. You
Oh
guys,
yeah,
you
yeah.
guys got the victory, and yeah, you can see all those 120 points and all those 120 PBs. So, um, yeah, astounding. We can go over just the top teams, or yes, we talked about it already, but yeah, 16,000 points, 16,000 points, 14,000 points for your top three teammates here. That's just an incredible performance. But yeah, look at everyone else getting the 120 PBs and getting, well, even your seventh place person got over like 3,000 points. That's insane.
Yeah, and even so, the one that I do want to point out is the Nasuke points for 120. We There was kind of like an in joke in the team that that run was worth like 35,000 points because it was kind of like the catalyst that just started everyone else doing 120. Like Nasuke hit it,
Mm,
and then I think Sanj started his runs, Monty started, Pumbaa started shortly after. Naho was pretty quick to jump on as well as Wicco. Like everyone just jumped on. So even just like just those little things, those little you know catalytic events that just start off these massive point runs, it was really cool.
that's
There were
so
so
awesome.
many there were just so many events that like in that last week, so many cool little highlights. Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna ask because I was gonna say with a week to go, how did you do it? And then, would you say it was partially thanks to that run? And then,
yeah.
what else was it? Kind of, did you do anything special
Uh,
for motivation, or was it just kind of like everyone got the energy from everyone else?
Yeah, so I think it was mostly that. Our original goal. So in the previous league, Peggy was actually on my team,
Mm,
and so our goal, the whole league, was just to beat Peggy. Um,
nice.
and I think we got there with like 5 days to go or something, and then we kind of looked at the Chunguses. They were 30k points ahead, and we were like, maybe we can like we still had points in the back in the 120, and we're kind of like maybe we can do this. Like a lot of 1,500 point bonuses and stuff like that. And if that all comes through, we all get like 10-minute PBs. We can kind of catch up. And so we just
Nice.
started pushing through, and then like I don't know, there were just I can't even think of like all the crazy examples. Like on the last day, Wicco had been grinding 16. I know it's like mostly 120 points, but Wicco had been grinding 16 for like the last month, I reckon. And he finally got the 16 shout out on the very last day. Like that was so hyped. And then they were just like Bro Buddy Harry. He wasn't really like super active in our channel, but he just come in and drop PBs every now and then, and they were just completely random and just take everyone by surprise. And it was like he dropped a massive 70 PB on the last day. That was like it helped absolutely helped get us over the line. Like just all these tiny little events. It's Sonic Gordon coming back and dropping like a 3k lump sum.
Mhm.
Sorry, a 1,500 lump sum 3k point run. Just yeah, it was really cool.
No, and as I said, like everyone, all the little things added up because of the margin was so small between you and the wholesome chunguses. So it all added up and just came through in the end. I mean, you kind of answered it already, but I was gonna say is, did you predict this at the beginning of the season? Did you think you were gonna have a running in the top three even, let alone finishing first?
Nah. No, so like I honestly I didn't draft for the win. I just kind of drafted to like I knew pretty much everyone in the team before we started. I knew they were all going to be like good guys to have in the chat. Um, So that was it. Was basically just like my aim was to just get a goon squad up and running. Just people you could hang around in the VC with and chat, and yeah, it paid off. It was apparently a good strategy.
So did you know most of the people that you drafted before the league started?
Yeah, yeah. I
Nice.
think there were only like two, like yeah, two people that I didn't know going in, and
Yeah,
they like it was so I didn't really know Soccer Man or Throw Buddy Harry, but like Harry dropping mad points, and I got a shout out Soccer Man. Like second last day or last day, I can't remember. He did a 5 hour 120 run, 500 points though. Like
amazing.
that, it was like the margin was what 1.6K or something.
Yeah,
It all added up. It
it
was
all added
crazy.
up. That's insane. Yeah, no, that's that. You find that motivation, you get it done. So,
Yeah.
GG's. Did you have any just final words to say? Any words of wisdom or anything you want to leave us with? You have the floor.
Oh no, just honestly, thanks to all the Bucks. You guys, it dude, I love the league, and this was I've done it the last 3 years, and I've captained the last 2 years. This was the most fun that I've had in any like Mario capacity whatsoever in the entire time I've been playing, and it was like all thanks to you guys. It was genuinely like so much fun. Those
Yeah,
nights when there were just like everyone in the voice chat, just the best. So yeah, thank you to all of you.
That's so awesome.
that's
I
excellent.
did want to ask. I know like you're halfway around the world here, so whatever time it is. But like when when all of you were in the voice chat, like I think like what I've heard from a lot of the teams that did have success is that they were able to get people to come hang out either in a different Discord or in that league server voice chat. So it sounded like you probably had the most active voice chat of all the teams. Like I don't know what everyone else's situation was like, but like I think that is just like a really cool takeaway here is like, you know, the cliche but like power of friendship and stuff like that was a really
Yeah,
cool thing to learn because I didn't know like what the whole team atmosphere was, but like it seems like the the vibes were just awesome the whole time. So that's
yeah,
what
we,
it's
we
all
had a bit of
about.
a quote. It was like what? I'm going to mess it up. Not all goats are bucks, but all bucks are goats. And it was just like
Nice.
it was just that whole like the champion team thing, like everyone chipped in, everyone was like egging each other on, and it was just yeah. And I mean, I gotta like our team. There's not many Australian runners, like
Yeah.
I think we've got a huge chunk of them in this team alone. But then there's like a bunch of European runners, a bunch of American runners, and no matter what, like I mean, I know Monty and Sanj are like up at 6 a.m. sometimes doing runs with us, and it was yeah, just the time zones were they powered through.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And shout outs to European Time Zone, who is getting this podcast live at about 2, 3, maybe 4 in the morning. So they're gonna have to catch the VOD. But yeah, one of my favorite things about the Mario community is just the worldwide aspect. Just like you said, you got the Australian runners, Japan, obviously. North America, Europe. The big communities I know about. So just yeah, shout outs and yeah, happy as Time Zone worked out for you to be able to come on and talk with us.
yeah, no, it's perfect. It's like 11 a.m. here, so just
Nice.
taking a little break from work at the moment.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, no better way. So, thank you for being with us. Congratulations once again. And yeah, like, you're familiar with the league. You've done it, like you said, the past 3 years. And so, will we see you in future leagues? You think?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure if I'll be captaining or playing or even just like doing leaderboard stuff next time around, but
Right.
yeah, I'll be in it in some capacity.
You'll be around. You'll be around.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Awesome. Well, thank you again for being here. I'll let you get back to work. I know that probably doesn't sound terribly exciting for you, but we're gonna go ahead and move on.
No.
I think to the rest of the team results overview. So let's go ahead and we've talked about the top 3 teams. Let's go ahead and dive into Team 4, shall we?
Let's give it up for Oat Slice one more time and the Young Bucks from the mud. And that's just such a cool story, where it's really the energy and excitement from everyone on the team getting that last push of like 30,000 points over the last week and somehow coming out with the first place, even though it's not about winning so much as it is about the journey, but that's like a really awesome journey as well.
Right. Yes.
So
It seems
cool
like this
stuff.
this was a great journey, and it paid off for them. Like I was on a pretty team that was fun working together, but we didn't get that like last minute grind to like try to beat or take number one. Like that is special. That's really special.
Yeah, I'm glad we kind of got that in some kind of, recording like that whole saga because I think that's a pretty special thing to commemorate. So yeah,
Exactly.
that's really cool.
Cool. So let's go ahead and just to refresh our memories here. First place with about 102,000 points, almost 103,000 was Young Bucks. Second place with 101,000 was the Wholesome Chunguses. And we talked about, of course, the bronze medal going to Peggy 23 with 91,000 points. We can go ahead and move on to fourth place, which was the Tipsy Tuxies, who I believe were the talk of the league at the start. They were, I believe, in second place for the longest time. I drafted, like Lana, the team captain in my fantasy league because I know she was super motivated to get some points and got quite a few fantasy points for me, so I'm pretty excited. But yeah, taking fourth place, Soda at the top, PBing in all five categories, so you absolutely love to see it. Sir, please stop getting the four, all the PBs except for Zero Star, so as well as It's Me Corey, so um, and likely Lana. So wow, everyone was just putting up PBs on the board like crazy.
Yeah, and even going down the list, we have some people who I've met at Pace and stuff, like Sabo, Corey. Hasselhoffman's kind of, I don't think he was at Pace, but he's kind of part of that same circle. Also, shout outs to Nils. He just got like a 0-star PB like 2 weeks ago. That's like fourth place or something, like maybe even third place. Like he got like a really good 0-star PB recently. So even though that's not part of the league total,
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
still shout outs to Nils. Um, and then this whole team, like I think, did really well. Really
Everyone got
shows that
points.
it's about the activity and the consistency across the board that is one of the biggest factors in the league. And it seems like there was a really good camaraderie here too. So
Right, right. You love seeing
great
that
stuff.
that 70 column with PBs from everyone in the league. So we got points out of everybody. Sign of a good captain. I heard really good things about Vlana as a captain. So hopefully she will be back in the future because fourth place performance is excellent. So and that logo is excellent. I would love to get some merch of that logo. So
Yeah, we'll get to the Blonde Boys later on, but
it,
merch
it,
will the merch conversation will come up again,
It,
just so you
it will
guys
come
know.
up again. Spoiler, it might come up a little later. a lot longer later. Moving on, though, to fifth place and the Gosh Gamers with Saxdale as the captain. Um,
I love this, by the way. Like, we had some that could be, a very brandable piece of merch for the logo. But this is the real merch. This is
this
like
is, yeah.
your clout t-shirt. Plain white tee with ripped Miles Buckram in the heavenly palace, you know, just flexing. Like, gosh, what can you say?
What can
T-Hags
you
says, I
say?
want merch of this. I think
I
that
think
would be pretty insane
I
if
think everyone
anyone made
does.
merch.
Yeah, the adoration for the logo just coming out in chat. People really do love it. And yeah, look at the performance of the team. This team's got the kind of the whole package. They got the branding and they got some top performances. Zan364 topping the team and ranked 22nd with 12,000 points, and Ian
Mhm.
ranked 29, getting 11,000 points. Those are their 10,000 or plus point runners. But Dakage and Michael Guy right behind them with 9,300 points, and Angry Kermit with 8,700. So a nice performance at the top there.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff. I think we got some good PBs out of all five of those. And then Saxel himself getting a solid few, although it does start to trail off a bit where you think like, that's kind of what prevented them from scoring any higher than they
Right,
did.
right,
Um,
right. I mean, look at those
but
PBs.
it's a fifth place finish from Saxdale, showing that once again he's one of the guys who really puts a lot of thought into the draft.
Right,
Doesn't
right,
just go for obvious picks, but he has picked people who were active and played some really good Mario. So
right,
like,
right.
um, yeah,
Well,
it's also just really cool because I think this is maybe in the kind of community that we're evolving into, where it's a little bit bigger now. Like, this is one of the best places to find out about new players and for new players to find
absolutely.
their social circles, even if it's not like the most like prolific thing or whatever. But
Right,
like
right.
just being part of the league and finding your people and having fun is what it's all about.
Oh
So
no, absolutely. It's
this
a great way
is
to bring
this is
people
really
in.
cool.
Yeah, and also just shout outs to because we
But
see
also, I
it.
want to shout out. Sorry,
Go
I
on.
want to. I think of something else, and that was honestly just a tangent. What I was trying to say is shout outs to Xandre for making um like this BLJ practice ROM tool,
Oh, yeah.
which someone actually adapted it. Um, I forget the person who adapted it, but it's basically called like BLJ Trainer 1.2 or something, and it is just a ROM that outputs like the frames that you press A on, and it's like, yeah, ADR killer just said it too. Maybe he was typing that as I was saying it out loud, but like it shows you the frames that you press A on, and it lights up red or green depending on if it was a successful BLJ pattern or not. So I've been actually been using that to practice 16-star BLJs and things. So like shout outs to Xandre. Also, he's been around for a while. He's dropped some like rap tracks with Zine and Benji, I think. So yeah, Xandre, pretty cool. He's got his. He's a man of many talents.
No, that's awesome to see. And yeah, yeah, excellent contribution to the whole team. At that point with 12,000 points. It's just
Yeah.
it's just mad. I wish I had drafted them in fantasy. Um, one more thing I want to shout out on the team is Michael Guy for the 5 category PB. I'm gonna try to keep swatting that out, and if I don't point it out for someone, your money back.
Cool.
All right. So anything else to point out here? I think we can move on to
Nope.
sixth
Let's keep it
place.
moving.
Sixth place, Gangster SpongeBob.png, coached by Real Prime Sub.
Nice.
I like looking over at the PB list already. We can see already a 5 category PB from Mr. Froggy, the number one on the team and ranked 13 overall in the league this summer, with 14,000 points. 6,700 of those coming from 120 star, 3,000 coming from 70 star, and 2,500 from 1 star. 1,500 from 16 if we want to talk about it, and 0 star getting 500. So yeah, nice 14,000 points. Insane.
Yeah. Sucks that we didn't get any PBs from Benji down there.
Right.
You know, I think he would have been one of the earlier draft picks. Also, someone pointing out Nader Beans, 0 points. Shout outs to Nader Beans. But really good stuff from a lot of people in this team.
Right, right,
I would say Mr. Froggy performed amazingly getting his PBs down to the places that they were. I think a lot of these were um, big improvements. You can look at PBs in all 5 categories, 6,000 and 120 star. I'm not sure what it was before, but probably like from scratch or maybe like a 3 hour or something like that to
right,
begin with.
right.
So a huge improvement. I want to give a shout out to Good Grief, who's been doing a lot of races and commentary in the CCG tournament and some other things like that. So he's someone to look out for. I think he's a pretty cool guy.
Yes, yes.
I wish I would have something to say about everybody, but like, yeah, special shout out to him because I've been interacting with him a bit more recently,
I'll just go
and
ahead and
good
tail on
job
that.
the whole team.
Yeah, no, and I just want to go ahead and also just extend that shout out to Good Grief, who has done commentary for Club 100 this season. Was in the 70 tournament in the LTA stage, over a month ago. So yeah, Good Grief, good guy. Yeah, shout outs.
Hmm.
And what I was saying, oh, it's just also just real prime sub with the excellent kind of GM moves, being able to put up a team that ranks six overall, with the three people at the bottom not scoring any points, not getting the leaderboard. So, kind of some heavy lifting from maybe Mr. Froggy at the top, Joan Bros, ranked 41st with 9,500 points. Which again, it's ranked 41st, but 9,500 points is still an insane number. 51st place with AB underscore with 8,700. JD 55th place, 8,700 points. Just putting up tons of points at the top. So.
Hmm.
Um, I think there's not much more to mention there, though. So let's go ahead and move
Yeah.
on to seventh place, Team Taki. Um, and I happen to have, well, first of all, let's mention rank four overall, Mauier, with 16,000 points, not even PBing at 70 stars. So all those coming from 120, 16, 1, and 0 star.
Yeah, really good distribution of points from Mauer. Taki herself also getting the 139.51, big milestone there. And then we have Doginator, Kelsmon, Dad Yoshi, all scoring quite a lot of points as well. And even Big Eyed Python with some short category. So, yeah, well done from Team Taki. We got to look at when the big draft pick did not pay off. We have Trey Bordeaux. He was loitering out there smoking the Bordeaux pack, not really doing his job. Foreman said get back to work. He's like, nah, I'm just smoking my Bordeaux pack. So 0 points for Trey Bordeaux. But seventh place for Team Taki and a lot of good players here. And yeah, shout outs to Bidgey. Bidgey. Everyone likes Bidgey. It's just a fun name to say because it's like Pidgey the Pokemon, but like it's intentionally mispronounced because it's big-eyed Python. So yeah, shout outs to Bidgey. Single star runner as well. That's about all I got to say. I think we'll probably like spend slightly less time on each team as we go down.
Right,
That's kind
right.
of the thought.
The only thing I'll mention here is that I happen to have the inside track. I talked with Taki at Pace, and she was mentioning that her team was kind of stressing out about getting runs in and getting burnt out, and that was not caused by the coach because she was like saying you don't need to do this. You can relax, stress. It's not that important. Blah blah blah. And, like the team was just kind of going crazy. So put up a seventh place performance for Taki, even though I think she was being a very fair, very good captain, saying don't overextend. Don't stress yourself out. Don't burn yourself out. So, yeah, good performance.
Taki does just stress people out sometimes without meaning to. I will say that, but that's all I'll say.
She's very talented. I don't like I was saying earlier. I don't think half-assed things, and so maybe the team was kind of reading into that a little bit. So, yeah, shouts to Taki.
Hmm.
I'm never gonna
I,
be able
I
to
really
pronounce
liked
that
when she went on
correctly.
commentary for like an hour or two. Like I think like the booth was lacking a little bit of that expert player knowledge, and she was able to provide a lot of insight. And if you talk to her about like the mentality stuff, I think that also goes a long way. I would also shout out like Genix's interviews. He dropped the one with Sweetie the other day.
Right.
Really cool to see like Sweetie's mentality for runs and stuff. But yeah, Taki, very very interesting person to talk to about game mechanics and philosophy and all that. So
Right, right.
yeah,
Spent basically a lot of time dedicated in the practice room at Pace, and so was great to talk to there. If you didn't mind interrupting her from practice a little bit. Cool. Let's go ahead and move on to speaking of Genix, eighth place, the Knicks. Thoughts
yeah,
about Genix and Soginsu?
super super cool for team the Knicks. Avatar with 13,000 points. Funnily, equally distributed among 121 and 0. Nothing to be had in 16 nor
Wow,
70.
wow.
But those are all really good PBs. 142.19, that is no joke.
Yep.
731 1 star, 719 0 star mastery, or at least relative proficiency of the SBLJ, which is pretty hard if you've ever tried it. And then we have a lot of other players who were able to put up a respectable amount. Everyone on this team putting over 1,000 points to the grand total, which is,
Yeah,
I think,
that's
the only team who's going to be doing that. I mean, without seeing all the other ones,
yeah,
I
that's
doubt that's going to happen again.
yeah, that's
Especially because
very
they had to
impressive.
replace a player. We won't talk about that more than we need to. But yeah, shout outs to the Knicks also for being like super sportsmanlike about it, and
Right,
the
right,
team
right.
for getting over it and still putting up eighth place
Yeah, we can
when it looked like they might have been dead, but no.
Wait for the true crime podcast about that situation on why we had to replace
The
someone.
True Crime
So
Podcast.
exactly. But yeah, is there anything to point here? I don't think anyone got the 5 star that I'm always on the lookout for. So yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. I think that's just some good GMing and some good coaching that everyone got over nearly 1,500 points at least for the team. That's
Hmm.
just really well spread out. So um,
Yeah.
well done. All right, let's move on to ninth place, and we have the Mafia with Mafias.
Yeah.
Never,
On we go.
never gonna know how to pronounce that, but
I
uh,
just say Mathis.
Moffus.
Mothis.
Moffus. Okay, I think I have Moffus. Then what is it? I can read that. And then we got the Mafia. Got it. Yeah, again, somewhat of a top-heavy team here with kind of the top 4 people getting 7,500 points or more. 9,000 from
That's got a
Edgar.
kind of even taper down.
Yeah, it's
It
got
doesn't drop off precipitously anywhere.
true. Yeah, it does taper off, but yeah, I definitely got the heavier 9,000 points from Edgar and Malix. Um, Moffus ranking 76, and wow, ranking 76, and then right behind him 77 on the same team, Bigfoot, with 7,600 and 7,500 points. So
Yeah.
so far, I think we've seen a lot of the captain putting up a lot of points and being towards the top of the team. So
Hmm.
pattern continues here.
I would say really bad DK was like a second round draft pick, and he sniped Mash, who really wanted him.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I don't know if that would have maybe turned the tides to make it a victory for the wholesome Chunguses if Mash had
Wow.
gotten really bad DK. But shout out to that guy, he's pretty nuts.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Ranked 92 and coming in with 6,600 points for the league. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to 10th place, the French Connection. Love seeing some of the
I
French
love that
there.
this team exists.
Yes. Speaking of, I mean, it's the whole thing we go back to is just building teams that people you can work together with and you have a kind of can bond with, and yeah, you really love to see it. So also just I
Mhm.
first found out about Sunard when they were in a Club 100 tournament. I believe it was one of the either the 70-star or 16-star 24-hour event I had. That was an LTA event,
Mhm.
and since then, like you mentioned like the league for being a great way to keep an eye on new players. Like this was my way to keep an eye on new players, is having people who sign up in my like open tournaments just to see like, oh, that's interesting. And since then I'm just like, oh, they are super talented. I drafted them in my fantasy team, and 14,000 points, freaking 14 overall, and getting the PB in 4 out of 5 categories. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, I also want to point out that the last league, Shadow's Power, was on French Connection, and he was, I believe, like the second or third highest scorer in the league, especially due to Zero Star. He had absolutely killed Zero Star. If you look at his PB sheet at the bottom, he has a 7 flat in Zero Star,
Oh wow.
724 1 star, 1527 16 star. So, like, kind of a short category specialist.
Right.
He scored 0 points, but the team still finished 10th. So, that means though you got a lot of good output out of people like Sunard and Kubab and Carino, SNY8. I don't know if there's a better pronunciation that people use. But yeah, everyone there.
Yeah, everyone.
Kalis, Laliet, you know,
Kebab
lots of
also.
people who had PB'd in 3 categories or
Um,
4.
I was just gonna say Kebab also in the Club 100 70-star tournament this season, so you
Hmm.
love to see it. That's a great way for me to get an eye on different runners. So cool. Shall we go ahead and move on
Hmm.
to 11th place, the Discord Kittens, coached by Udalol.
This is a pretty cool team. Happy's banners. I would have not have guessed he'd be the top scorer of this team, but with 11,000 points, including 3,000 and 120, 5,070. Um, really, really impressive. I gotta say, hats off to him. Madware is kind of one of the runners who I'm like very, very fond of. He's like very low key, but um, invented the Mad Owl Owless strat, Owlful strat,
Right.
and is pretty active in like the Spanish speaking community. One thing I wanted to point out when Oslace was talking about like the teams, the players from all over, and you were saying it's like a global thing. The one, or like you said, Japan, Australia, Europe, North America,
Hmm.
like the Latin American runners this year, I feel like have grown so much more since last league. Like we have a ton of people from like Chile and I don't like I don't even know where they're all from, but
Right,
like
right,
even
right,
like Panama and Costa Rica and stuff. And it's like cool to see the game expand into other countries too and
right,
have
right.
it even be more worldwide. So
I,
yeah,
I
shout
I
outs
I
to
know Brazil.
Madware is I think Madware is from oh god, I don't want to say it because I'm gonna be wrong. I think he's from Chile, but like there's a lot of people from Spain as well. So just kind of the whole Spanish speaking
Right, right.
world of Mario has been really active.
And to extend that, South America, I know, has Brazil, which of course speaks Portuguese. And I believe that is where ADR Killer is from. On my team this season was super helpful to me. We'll get to
Okay,
that when we
yeah,
talk
we
about
definitely
that.
have a lot of Brazilian runners too. But I don't know, I felt like maybe the Brazilian runners had been a little bit more established thanks to people like Deza and
Yeah,
Vitron
yep,
Co.
for sure, for sure. But
So yeah.
but yeah, like I said, it's just worldwide. And I did leave out, I believe, South America when I was talking about kind of the worldwide communities there that I know about. And I certainly know about them. They've they've given me some solid advice and were helping me during league. So don't want to leave them out at all. So, um, but yeah, let's go ahead and move on to a 12th place here with the box champs, coached by Phaser Laser 80. Also, just shout outs. Phaser Laser was just a cool guy to meet at pace. Just seemed super chill, my
Hmm.
sort of person. But getting into the results, AJ Lane.
My boy,
Look at
my
that,
boy AJ Lane,
eighth
finally putting
place,
up some goddamn points. Let's go, AJ.
eighth
This
place.
man has been like, I'll do some runs eventually for like 2 years at least. But you know, he actually did some runs this time and got some PBs. I drafted him like 2 years ago in like second round pick or something, and he let me down, man. But he's fun.
No,
He's
no.
also an all boxes category runner, which is why it makes sense that he's on this team with Phaser.
Oh, it's
So
it's just perfect. It's
yeah,
just perfect.
shout outs to AJ Lane.
Ranked eighth overall to put some numbers behind it, scoring 15,960 points,
Yeah.
nearly 16,000 points. Most of them coming from 120 star with nearly 7,500 there. Um,
Hmm.
Absolutely astounding there. Overshadowing second place on the team, Hot Dog Boy with 11,000 points, ranked 26, which would be first place on a number of other teams. Let's point out.
Hot dog boy, let's
Let's
go.
go. So, also, but sorry to get back to AJ Lane for a second. Getting the five category PB that I want to shout out. So
Yep.
you really do love to see it. But yeah, this whole team kind of again not a big drop off, and then you get some of the people in the later draft rounds who don't get any runs in, but or get any PBs in, I should say. But most of this team, you know, top half of the team put in a few points. So
Gothrock Mike Mario Cam Legend says Twig is one hot mama. So
isn't
shout
that
outs to
point?
Gothrock Mike.
Isn't there a Mario Cam tourney or something going on? I feel like Gothrock Mike is hosting or knows something about it. Or if anyone knows anything about it, feel free to put that in chat. Because I thought there was something going on. They were pretty hyped about getting more people into the Mario Cam scene. So if anyone has any more information there, let me know.
I wonder how easy it is to convince people to sign up for that tournament.
I imagine it's not easy,
Oh,
but that's
challenges. Okay. Challenges or like tasks, I think are good ideas
okay. Yeah, yeah.
as opposed to a tournament.
I knew there was something. I saw it go by. I had to shout it
Yep.
out. So that makes sense. If you're interested in that, or maybe just the yeah
Oh,
the
you know what? If we're doing other shot, I mean,
yeah,
sorry to
please.
take the spotlight, but remember it was about a year ago that we did our 2v2 lockout bingo tournament. And I want to say it's a good category. Someone else should do a tournament of it. It's really, really fun.
Hell yeah.
Everyone liked it. I'm serious. Like 2v2 lockout bingo. You heard it here. Milo, GSA, CCG. Do a freaking 2v2 lockout. You'll not regret it.
Yes,
Thank you.
it's good content. It produces. Like I said, we had tons of content from it last year, so yeah, it slaps. We should definitely do more of it or see more of it. So, um, getting back to the box champs here, is there anything else we want to shout out? Just say you see everyone who participated got looked at like PBs in lots of categories: 120, 70, 16, one star. So
I think we can move on.
we can move on to Team 13, Ron and the Cenas, coached by Fleeting Azure. Um,
Not even Ron Cena on this team, by the way. He's on
yes,
another team.
I had to double check that when I was putting this together and typing it out. I was like, did I miss something here? Like,
Also, I love that the top scorer is a guy named Liam Play Zelda. I mean, just because we have Liam, the obvious 120 runner, but not that Liam, but Liam Play Zelda can apparently play Mario, so that's kind of cool.
hell yeah. So you can see, and again, this looks like a smoother distribution of points over the whole team. The top scorer only scoring 8,700, less than we've seen on other teams. Still an incredible score.
We are at 13th, but yes.
Fair enough, but I mean, you should still have you still could have some like top heavy teams that don't score a lot of points, and maybe
Yeah.
we'll get to them, and maybe that's what we're gonna get into. But still,
Also,
8,700. Yep.
yeah, I was gonna say, shout outs to Jaquarium getting I don't know if he got his I think he had 47 before the league started, but that's a very notable PB improvement down to 47-43 for him out of all the runners on here. That's probably like the highest leaderboard run. And then also shout outs to him, Dista, and Feeding Azure who were at pace.
Yeah. Yes. It was great to see him in the pace, and Aquarium was in the Club 100 tournament this season as well. So,
Yeah,
I'm
he won,
always
right?
um.
Or did Bombs win?
I think Aquarium got knocked out. Am I right? I'm bad. I don't know my
Oh
own
wait,
tournament.
is that another tournament? It
It,
was like
it,
Jaquarium versus Bombs. Yo,
no.
AJ, what's up? You're the
Jaquarium took
goat.
it. Bombs took game one. That's what it was, and then Jaquarium came back with the games two and
Yeah.
three. So I was like, I remember Bombs winning something. Yes, Bombs took game one. So and by the way, for anyone who's like, hey, didn't that tournament or didn't that season of Club 100 end? We still have the third place match, and I think we're gonna play it on Sunday. So come back here Sunday. We'll enjoy that. So anything else to point out with Ron and the Cenas?
Nope.
Trying to see if there's any other people I know, anyone's any shout outs here, but I think
Shout
we can move
outs to
on.
Dentorius Red with his 0 points.
Yep, definitely
That's
shout
okay.
outs. Getting the rank 331. Gotta go get the
Hmm.
331 tattoo.
All right.
14th place, Reset. No thanks. Coached by Pierre. Eh,
Great logo here. I know it's Men I Trust. Men I Trust. It's a music. I don't know if it's a solo artist or a band, but anyone know of them? Men I Trust. It's a thing. So yeah, that's what the logo is based on. But yeah, 14th, pretty cool. I met Pierre at Pace. Shouts to SMC 5, 10th in the league. Pretty high placing for being a mid-table team down here. And 15,000 total from all five categories. A real well-rounded player. You love to
Absolutely.
see it.
Again, I'm gonna shout out my fantasy team as much as I possibly can, even though I did not rank very well at all. But I did. SMC was one of my home runs, so shout outs there.
Right.
And of course, Lost in Speed Runs, we got a shout out getting the overall rank 69. Quite nice.
Hmm.
Um,
That's
get-
that's pretty good.
getting it only from 120 and 70 star points as well. Um,
Oh,
eh,
nuclear energy, no thanks. I need to look this up. Near
hmm.
energy, no thanks. Nuclear power. It is pretty much okay. It's like a smiling sun.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And then
okay.
I don't know what this is. Is it like a stopwatch?
Yeah, like this is
A
a
whoopee cushion?
stopwatch. Yeah, if we're gonna go with like the reset thing, I think a stopwatch makes a little more sense. Like I'll give them that. So also surprisingly difficult to come up with a speedrunning logo that does not involve a stopwatch because I was trying to figure out one with Club 100 and I was just like the that I paid came back with like three ideas and like three of them were stopwatches. It's like,
Hmm.
and I was like, this is all kind of I didn't want to be too close to GSA and
Okay.
stuff. So
Okay. So I think you're right. It is like the nuclear power, no thanks. But the face is like if you look at Men I Trust logo, it's like pretty much the same face. I don't know if
yeah,
it's based on that or not. But I'm not crazy.
yes, and
Thank you for listening.
it's also just a nice, super chill, smiley face. He's got the eyes closed, just super
Yep.
chill. So,
No
um,
resets.
and yeah, also you said you mentioned you met Pierre at Pace. I also mentioned,
Also
or
Bob Toad.
I also mentioned Pierre or met Pierre Pace, and they were showing off their, I believe, HDMI console. I forget which mod it was exactly, but I think turned some people into converts with that at Pace. So,
Mm,
all right,
pretty pretty crazy tech.
yeah, I love all the tech we have in this community. It warms my soul. All right, moving on to 15th place, the homie squad with Tixom as the captain.
The top fragger.
And indeed, yeah, topping out their team with rank 60 with 8,300 points. A pretty good showing, and across four categories: 120, 70, 16, and one star.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, we
Moltres,
got Twig and Hippocamp in the chat. Shout outs to those two.
absolutely.
But yeah, Moltres, Spiderman, Happy Dude, Ambriel Drake, and Median. Seen them around a bit. So yeah, big times and PBs in four categories for the top three, and
Yeah,
then three for the next four. And so
yeah,
yeah, lots of good
lots of good.
spread of PBs.
On a team that has made up entirely of people that didn't have a 0-star PB going into it and did not get a 0-star PB during the league. That's just kind of interesting.
Huh.
Um,
All right, we have one more, and then we're gonna do like the fantasy roundup. So let's get to the 16th.
let's get to team 16th, Team Silly Goofy, coached by Fizz.
Wow. Team Silly Goofy. I mean, Fizz did really well. I kind of wish he was actually like around more, but I think like the SMC4 VC was like so toxic it like chemically altered his brain into being a 602 runner, you know? So I hope he's living his best life out there. But good job.
No,
145 and 120 star, like hey, I can't knock that at all. That's a good time.
I mean, yeah, just ranked 25 overall in the league this season is quite a performance with 11,700 points. That is quite a showing. And again, over the four categories, 120 and the 70, 16, and then even 1,500 and one star.
Shout outs to Pinecone in the chat saying Goofy Gang.
Goofy gang.
Also shout outs to Pinecone for being randomly in the a CSC like Counter Strike league,
That's
and
right.
somehow
That's
we got
right.
on like a similar. We got on two different teams in the same franchise. This was like before. This was in like May and June or something.
Yes,
But yeah,
yes. I remember mentioning that and just going, that's crazy that you both ran across that, came across each other. Also, shout outs to Pinecone, Cone, longtime Club 100 supporter, and did comms for me this season. So I'm always
mhm,
appreciative of people who hop in the comms booth for me. It's always a nightmare to find comms, as I think a lot of people know. So
yeah. Also shout out Von Jim. He has been playing a lot, and he has PB'd in 70 since this, I believe. So yeah, I just kind of keep up with him a little bit more than the others, but
right, another
good to
another
see that.
another person
And
that was at
then
pace, and yeah, it was just nice to meet there, nice to see them. And now it's nice to be able to visualize some of these people and be like, oh yeah, I know that guy now. So.
yeah, and then just last but not least, CJ Rococo Mero with the 0 and 1 star specialist PBs out there doing a pretty insane job. So yeah, good job for
Good,
Team Silly Goofy.
Good job. And we are now halfway through the league with the top 16 teams here. Let's take a short little break here and look at the top fantasy results. We see here in front of us the top 10 fantasy teams.
Also,
Um,
when are we bringing in the former CEO of Cringe?
when did you book them?
He's just in the stream queue. So I don't know when we were planning on having that.
Oh, THags. We were planning to bring THags in at the end of the episode
Okay.
after we're
I
through all
just
these
want to make sure
teams.
he's not like
Yeah.
expecting to be on and like
Yeah.
when like should I be like ready now or
So
like
well,
no? So
so
at the
here's the
end, I
thing.
guess.
So I said, hey, you're coming out at the end of the episode. It'll probably take us what about an hour to get through the teams, and we're now about an hour into the
Oh,
podcast,
if you
and we're
asked me how
halfway
long it would take, I
through.
would have never said we'll get all the teams in an hour. But you know,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
got
yeah.
through all the top teams, so now
I
we're down to me and my and your team where we're all bad, so we can just
I
breeze right on through.
I
I
think we'll be able
think
to breeze through these
a little
next
bit fast.
top teams in like the next probably 20, 30 minutes or so. So I will
Yeah.
give T Hags a heads up about that, but we can go ahead and talk about fantasy for a little bit here. So
Shout
Um,
out to Lion.
yeah. What I think is super impressive there is everybody on that he drafted scoring points. You don't see that, I think, on anyone else's team. Certainly not in the
Yeah.
top 10. So great GM skills there.
Just shows like how hard it is to tell who's actually going to score points though, because
Hmm.
you would have thought like with all the people who did fantasy, like a few people would have picked 10-point scorers or like
Hmm.
13.
Yep.
It's like no, everyone's got like two runners who have zero or something like that.
Right,
Like
right, right.
even in the top five. So there you go. Shout outs to Lion, and then we'll go through and say Naho second place, Oat Slice, man, he's just so good. Third
Yeah.
place, likely
Yeah.
Lana, also a captain and fantasy specialist. Fourth place, SMC. Fifth, Von Jim. Sixth, I know he put some time into the fantasy. Ron Cena, Soul Erica, THags, and Jay Waterman rounding out the top 10, all getting over 100,000 with their fantasy team.
Right, and the number one team getting 150,000 points, so just kind of blowing people out of the water. Second place, 20,000 points fewer with 130,000 points, and so getting over 100,000 points, excellent showing. But first place, really, really running away with it. Their top runner was Nicholas. Of course, you draft the number one person in the league, you're gonna have a good time. But
Hmm.
also Pie Golds, Rhino getting 16,000 points. Mauier, fourth person in the league, fourth ranked in the league. So
I
um,
don't think anyone else picked Nicholas.
that's kind of crazy. Yeah, you're right.
So
Not.
that was like free win right there
Oh
for
man,
Lyon.
a lot of points there. Yeah, coming from there. But of
But the
course,
thing
their
is,
margin is so large,
I,
even
I,
without
don't- I don't
Nicholas.
I don't know which round Nicholas was drafted in. I think he was like sort of early mid rounds. Maybe T-Hex knows, but like I think Mass was the only person who like had done his homework and realized that this guy was going to score points. But I don't think he could have realized that he was going to be the top scorer in the whole league. Like
Yeah,
I was in
that's
the VC and he was like, "Dude, this is so nuts. He's at like 10,000 already. He just PB'd in 0 star." And it's like, yeah, what an awesome story for him. Also, second time in a row a Spanish runner has topped the boards. It was Jilcon last year, and he's been farming some PBs again this year in the last couple of months. So shout outs to them.
shout outs. All right, so yeah, I don't think they're. And then yeah, just again, shout outs to Lana, who again is ranked fourth is in fantasy here, but got me tons of fantasy points on my own. I wish some other players I had drafted
Yeah, I
would have
don't
been more
see
like
you in the
Lana.
top 10.
Yeah, I was aiming for top half. I figured, first year you don't know much about the players and stuff. Just aim
Yeah.
for the top half. That would have been 29th out of 58th, and I got 31st. So right in the range I was aiming for, but a little lower than I was hoping for. So something to improve on for next year, for next
Yeah.
league.
Yep.
So
I also missed the window for fantasy. But shout outs to Saxdale for setting that up.
oh yeah.
So many shout outs today, man. Just shout outs to Simba Flips. I don't know. Just let's move on.
It takes a lot of work to put this all together. So, and it takes a lot of different people kind of doing their part. So, just shout outs to all of them. It makes the whole thing work. But you're right. And let's dive back into the results. And this result I'm mostly excited about. This is my team right here, the Mighty
Also, if
Fucks.
you're waiting for a shout out and you're not getting a shout out, DM me and I'll get you a shout out because whatever. So what's one more shout out after a
E-
hundred? So
Exactly,
yeah, we'll
exactly.
get you everyone. You get a yeah. Everybody gets a
Gets a
shout
shout
out.
out. And, speaking of everyone gets a shout out Elisa, my team captain on the Mighty Fucks.
Yay!
She was a great
Actually, awesome.
she was a great captain. Like I said, was helpful, kind of motivating people, teaching people strats. Like I said, she does the hour of the practice hour every week, where like not just her team, but like literally anyone and outside of League Two can sign up and say like, "Hey, I want help with this 16 or 70 star strat," and she spends an hour every week in her Discord. Going over strategies, showing
Yeah,
people how to do it, answering questions live. It's a great setup. If you're afraid about, you don't want to like you talk in like voice VC sort of thing. It's all chat. It's kind of set up just like in Discord, but it's very much like Twitch. She's on the camera and then you're all just chatting. It's a great setup. Highly recommend it to everyone. Yeah, just shout out Elisa. So, it's super motivating for me, at least me this season, to get my PBs in three categories. Shout out ADR, number one on the team, for spending so much time grinding 1 and 0 star DDD skip, and teaching basically everyone on the team who was interested uh, how to do 1 star and 0 star. So that's the shout outs I want right there. But Denise also putting up a great performance. It seems like she was PBing every other day, just kind of getting these marginal, kind of by a few seconds here or there, and then just it seemed like it was every day Ninnis was PBing. She's a legend. Also, like I said, it was in Zeus's tourney. I believe it has matches coming up, so definitely follow her there. Um, yeah. CS, who's hosting the tourney, also on my team. We had a team of tourney organizers because Amanda was also on our team. So yeah, some great
True.
people from the Mario community here. So we had to spend a little time on the Mighty Fox. Also, love the logo. I have some merch from that I made myself. So got to represent. So shout out to Lisa.
Nice.
All
Yeah.
right, let's go ahead and move on to 18th place. Overcooked, coached by Cooking Cat.
Love the Overcooked.
That's a
But
good
yeah,
logo.
we have a good logo from them. I was on Cooking Cat's team last time, I think. We have Drain Style with rank 21, 12,000 points, PBing in 4 categories, really great. And then Karen with a 9,103.120 star improvement down to 137.41. Currently second in the world. I don't really feel like people give enough credit to the Japanese runners because it's so easy to like, I don't know, like um mix them up in your head because you don't like engage with their personalities as much because you can't understand them. But it's like
Language barrier adds a lot of complexity to stuff, so.
But it's like I still have to remind myself that Karen is actually second place in 120 star, and
Right,
like
yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Well, I love
So,
that. You're not going to see 9,000 points in the league and in one category and in zeros in every other category and being like ranked 48th and just like, look at that PB at 137. Like, it's just
yeah.
insane.
I mean, it shows that even though we've tried to make the point scale increase as you get to better and better times, it really isn't so top heavy that the best runners get the most points. Like
Mhm.
Karen had to work, I guarantee, harder for 9,000 points than like Drain had to work for 12,000. No disrespect to Drain but it's just like a 137 is such a completely different beast. So it's
Right,
kind of
right.
like showing that like actually the league incentivizes you to draft people who are new and improving.
Mhm.
But if you get someone like Karen who drops that kind of PB, like just a big, you know, big fat one, big log, that's pretty awesome too.
Yep, yep, no. And yeah,
Also, just a lot of really cool, chill people on here. Obviously Foxy, Scythemer, Joshua is drunk, Cooking Cat himself. Yeah.
yep, and then Skythermer also in the Club 100 this season. So, shout outs there. All right, let's
Oh
move
yeah,
on.
Scythemer with a 4736. Thank you for pointing that out, Sanj. Money. All right, we can move on.
Moving on to 19th place with Onunga 64, Mojo Pug, the captain, and
Cool. Yeah, this is a mostly like Spanish speaking team,
right,
I
right.
believe. So yeah, Am6. I think this guy's been around for a little while, but him and MD Snoopy putting up big points here, 12,000 and 8,000. Did most of the heavy lifting, although we had a little bit from Luisito with 4,500 and then a bit from the rest. Only one person, Mojo Pug, did not put up points, so like good team effort here. Um, yeah,
Yep,
19th. Nothing too crazy, but I
yep,
think especially the top two players are worth pointing out here.
yeah. I agree with you. So let's go ahead and move on to 20th place here. We got Chicken Butt, Team Chicken Butt, with Johnny Three Oak or Johnny Oak. Do you know how that's pronounced? Do you know where the three goes?
I believe he will just say he'll either say the three or they don't say the three. It's not
All right.
Johnny Throke. It's just Johnny Oak or Johnny Three Oak. Um,
That seems fair.
yeah,
So Johnny.
Jonathan Oakland the third.
That makes sense to me. That's how you phrase that. So
Yeah.
uh,
Also, point out Suiji literally got a 70-star world record here, 46-41 with the 70 PB there and 7,000 points from that one.
geez, yeah,
But
that's
again,
insane.
that's his only point scored, rank 82. So
And yeah, fourth
yeah,
on the team.
nothing like yeah, nothing like to carry the team by for the league perspective. But Mark
Absolutely not.
Nader up there with 39 did pretty well.
Markinator, I believe, got their 70 PB during the Club 100 tournament. I believe in the LTA for Group B in early June. Possibly
Hmm.
they PB'd since then, but that was a fun moment, and that was the exciting thing about doing the league and then pace and then having it all at the same time as a league. Really just added to all the excitement and hype, and it all just kind of built on each other. So
Hmm.
yeah, shout out to Marketing with 9,700 points, ranked 39th. A Sandal in just a few ranks later, 42nd with 9,400 points.
Hmm.
Vadian, 58th ranked at 8,400 points, and yeah, like you said, Squeegee with 7,200 with the 70-star world record. And then Horror, again, also in the league, also is going to be in the third place match on Sunday, so we're getting that scheduled.
Yeah.
And THags on the team as well. We're gonna have THags on the show later. A little spoiler alert for a little bit of a league wrap up from the mods point of view. So
Yeah, Horror was doing. I just want to say, like, before we move on, Horror was doing really good in the 70 LTA. That was this weekend. He got like at least 148, maybe two, and then he had at least a lot of good runs. And then he's also been doing really well in tournaments. I think that's one place where he's like really, really well known for is the tournament consistency. So yeah, good stuff from him in the community. Go give him a follow or whatever if you don't.
good plan. So let's move on to 22nd, or sorry, 21st place. The Pokey W crew, coached by Menace Monk. And Venus Monk topping out their team, ranked 33rd overall. Nice performance with 10,000 points. Looks like they're
Mhm.
getting points in 120, 70, and 16, with a 155 getting them 6,500 points for 120.
Yeah, we see a lot from Menace Monk. You know, I know Menace Monk. This is so self-indulgent, but he told me like his my BOB 100 tutorial really helped him. So like he PB'd in 120. So maybe if you want to do some 120, go check out my tutorial.
Nice.
Um, shameless plug there. Also, Callie's on this team.
Yeah.
138, big PB. I'll just shout out the big milestones that people achieve as well because
No, you got it.
it's all across the leaderboard for here for these runners. But Callie, man, what an awesome accomplishment that is. And for only running this game for a few years, like he's still on the up and up.
Right, and I've been following the grind of it, and also just of course following Callie at pace. Was super excited to root for Callie. I was on leading the at the front of the leaderboard for quite a lot of the weekend. I didn't know they got a one-star PP during the league too, as I can
Yeah.
see on the thing. That's cool too. I just think of them as grinding 120 so much, and then they did 70 for. Again, I think a couple tournaments. I think they did the CCG tournament, and I think they did.
He
I
got
know they did
like
Club 100.
two 4802s,
Yeah,
and he has not gotten to 47 yet, but soon. Soon.
absolutely soon. So, yeah, shouts to Callie there, and yeah,
Yeah,
Taylor
let's
Swift
move
simp.
on.
I just want to mention that Taylor Swift simp again. Shout outs to the 0-star specialist, and is currently doing the. Did you see the? I forget what the ROM hack is called, but it's all the textures are black, and so it's basically you just have to move around Mario 64 with
It's the
no
Dark Edition.
Dark Edition. Thank you, and that looks insanely difficult, and she's just going for just like better and better times, like better times than I can do with everything visible. So, shout outs to TSS. All right, and we can move on to 22nd place, Team Zeus SM64. Looking like Finney being the one showing
Hoggies.
up here with 13,000 points, a 141.54 PB in 120 star, netting 8,500 points, and then a 46.50, of
Hmm.
course, getting. It really seems like there should be more points for 70 star, getting just under 5,000 points, but still,
I think he had
obviously
like a
dominating.
47, like 47-16 or something. It was
Okay,
already
yeah.
a very good PB.
Yeah, it still seems
But on
like still,
VC, it's got to
yeah.
be said.
I'm
But
right still though, but like still seems like they should be like 46, insane. So yep,
yeah,
top of the list there, dominating, coming in 18th place overall in the league this summer. Um,
sad. Sadly, this team had like only half the team score points, which is sad.
that is
But
sad.
that's what happens. Shout out to everyone who did score points though, because everyone, let's see, above Gem of Law got 3,000 plus. I'm like, hey, that's a pretty good starting point. If the other half was
Hmm.
on par with that one, you could have been like top 10 maybe. But
Yep.
Can't have it all.
Exactly. Yeah, and this is coming back to you just don't know when drafting who's going to be able to put in the time, put in the have the
Yeah.
motivation, and who's going to play Mario 64 versus some other Mario games, non-Mario games. Tears of the Kingdom was out during this league, so it definitely could have some
True.
issues here. But we can go ahead and move on to 23rd place with Team Womplicated, with Blasons
Yeah,
as the
this is
captain.
Ron Cena's actual team,
We're on Cena's actual
not Vaughn
team.
and the Cenas.
Ron Cena topping the team, ranked 34 with 10,000 points. Pretty reasonably evenly distributed, mostly from 120 and then 70, but then 16 star, 1 star, and 0 star all getting points.
The 5 point star.
Oh yeah, the 5 category PB. I've been forgetting to point that out, although maybe as the teams fall down the ranks, that's been fewer people to point that out on. So, but yeah, Ron Cena definitely is deserving the shout out there.
So to point out Sons and Chance's F Chaboom goat. You know, we really like saying the word goat, but it's a bit much when the 0 point goat.
The 0 point goat. Hell yeah.
But everybody did score points. Pretty good point sums here. Dom Cactus about let's say 6,000. Malkirian 5.5. Zach Tunes 3.3. And we Bella 2,000. Hayes Live 1,900. So good job from half of Team Womplicated.
Hell
And I
yeah.
think that's good for the people who were playing because that's what you're there for.
You know what would be interesting to see is go back and take the teams and then but divide out by basically just the number of people who actually participated and find an average per active team and see how the points come out that
Hmm.
way. But we can do that later. A fun summer
Yeah.
project for someone. Moving on to
Also,
24.
if you,
Yeah, go on.
I don't know, we've been delaying this so much already, but follow Amy Bella if you haven't.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah.
I've seen her post some like actually sick movement. Like, from even 3 months ago, she's like, I want to say like 25% better, like just movement wise. Like,
I
there's
think
some
it's
big stuff cooking. I could see a 149 in the
I
future.
think did I just see was she the one who posted the HMC recently that she was grinding and during
Toxic
time?
maze, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
So
like, dude, I can't do that yet.
yeah,
So,
yeah. No, just
Og
hella pog. So yeah, definitely give her a shout
and
out or
assless, by the
give
way.
her a follow.
Um, yeah. So
Yep.
yeah,
Toxic
just want to
Toxic
point
Maze
her out.
Builder. Yeah, that's
All
exactly
right,
because I was just
moving
I just
on.
saw the video there. Moving on to 24th place, the Raging Cajuns with Cajun 64.
Yeah. Oh, Octave ranked 23 with 11,000 points. Sad his team let him down more or
Oh.
less, but that's okay. You know, if you all had fun, then you all had fun.
Exactly. I think we're getting down to the point here where just people didn't participate, or they did. I should say it didn't necessarily didn't participate. If you went for runs and just didn't get anything, that's okay too. You participated, you contributed, you were there. But I think a
Yep.
lot of people here who didn't get a lot running. So um, shouts to
Yeah,
Corf, met them at Pace. Cool guy. So um, Seema, I believe, has been in possibly some Club 100 tournaments. I feel bad not knowing anymore, but that
I
just
think so.
yeah. I've now done like 9 or 10 tournaments for Club 100, so it's like that I can't remember is a little more acceptable than it's just been done so much over the years. But um,
Yeah,
cool.
I think we can move on.
I think we can move on to 25th place.
Get down toward the last few here. I think we
That
have 32 total teams.
exactly. So we are definitely getting down towards the bottom ranked teams here.
Hey,
Akat,
it's Mia Khalifa is overrated.
exactly
And
on
West Dog.
and West Dog taking 40th ranked and 93rd ranked overall at 9,600 points and 6,400 points. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
and Amush.
a mush
And
mash. Yep. Also shouts to GoShock. Was just there during my lowest moments during my 120 run for league, so gave me some emotional support even though they weren't on my team. Really appreciate it.
yep,
That's the best part about league is that it's obviously people are on teams, but everyone's rooting for each other. It's a great community. So
yeah.
all right. Then go ahead and move on to It's Beef. Again, shout out for the raid earlier, the B team here.
Yeah.
And again, you see a case where the coach or the captain was the top of their team with ranked 31 with 11,000 points, really showing up.
Wow. Kind of sad because I think like people like Gerbies and Kobe were PBing a little bit before the league, so it kind of made sense to
Yes,
draft them. But
right, right.
um, yeah, not a whole lot of activity outside of It's Beef and Sheeny. But shout outs to Sheeny for getting a solid 6,200 points across three categories. Probably a lower round draft pick, improving those from like
Hmm.
not I don't know what the beginning PBs were, but probably not a whole lot, but down to 220 an hour, 18 minutes. So probably like kind of like their first big push in Mario 64. So good on them.
Yeah, you'd love to see it. And also just Gerbies. I think everyone in the community knows Gerbies, but I think got on that Mario Party world record grind right as the league was
Hmm.
going on. So obviously a super talented player, but didn't do a lot of Mario 64 during the league, so um, doesn't get
And
many
Beav is
points.
is one to watch. I commentated a GDQ hotfix nonstop run that he did, so that was like I can check that off my bucket list. Is like commentate GDQ. Okay,
Yes,
so
nice, nice. Yeah,
there you go.
and I've been having tossing Bevon as I've seen them in the background while I do work during the day. It's been a great just watching them grind it down. So um, give us some support. They clearly deserve it without getting 11,000 points during the league. That is I didn't realize they did that well, honestly. All right.
Pretty huge.
Yeah, it's huge. Let's move on to 27th place. We were almost to the bottom here
Woo!
with Tabascoff teams, the Cracked Addicts. And
Yeah,
we got to this is Badronis' team. Why
so
don't you take it
good.
away?
Oh my God, we got Taciturn with 9,000 points. This is like Taciturn is just such a reliable pick for something like this. Um, yeah, lots of good points from Taciturn. Now here's the thing. If this was a August September league and you picked Gothic Logic, my God, it would be so rich. He would be scoring so many points. He's like going for he's 139 right now. He's been practicing for like 3 months. Like he is a crack addict, but like he did not score any points. Sadly, Afrodafro did not score any points. Me did not score any points. Well, can't really get a whole lot done with that happening. So not much to say about us. But shout outs to Taciturn.
Shout
We
outs.
can
Yeah,
move on.
absolutely. Yeah, we can move on to 28th place. Yoshi Fan Club 4, captained by Bailey SM64. Again, huge standout member of the community, but not the team. Not really coming through here.
Yeah, shoutouts to the controller marketplace. Someone posted that link earlier. But yeah, this is more of like at this point, I would say this is more of a novelty team than an
Yes.
actual competitive team.
Yep. Yep.
But they got a couple points. FMX did some good work. Naranite did some good work. Um, Bailey herself did a
Yes.
respectable as team captain.
Right. I think it was
They all
playing.
scored more than I did, so what can I say?
Yes,
Good
and
for them.
I was following Bailey's grind towards the end of league, just really wanting to get that 70 PB. Think it was also in CS's tourney, and so was grinding a bit for that as well. And I think finally put up the 70 PB and drafted Bailey in fantasy, so I was very happy to see her finally put up some points for me.
Nice.
Cool. So yeah, I think we can move on to 29th place. Team Tau 664, coached by Jay Waterman.
Hoggies. Jay Waterman did like the control stick maintenance thing for our Teach Me showcase that we did the one time, and maybe we'll do it again later. Who knows? But yeah, Ross with 7,500, pretty solid. Meter, shoutouts to Meter, commentary, other event stuff. But yeah, we're getting toward the bottom few here,
Yep, yep,
so of a handful of zeros, a handful of people who maybe got like one or two PBs, but not a whole lot
yep.
else to write home about.
The top the team here, Ross, getting 4 out of 5 category PBs, and normally when you see that, it feels like it's 120, 70, 16, and one, and then maybe zero star. But this one is 0, 1, 60, and 70. didn't get it
Hmm.
120. I just find that interesting. But 120 is, of course, a beast on its own. So if you're putting in time on 0 and 1 star, it's not exactly coming in super handy with 120, is it? So
Yeah,
cool.
we can
Well,
move on.
let's move on to
Three more
30th place.
teams.
To 30th place, the Blonde Boys, coached by Sari, and
Oh, we are here.
we are here.
I
And so
bought a Blonde Boys T-shirt. It just the logo goes so
the
hard.
the
It's like
logo
the
goes so
summer vibe.
hard. I also got the some stickers, and I believe the patch of the alternative logo with, I believe it's the smiley face with the S's as eyes, which I think is just the dopest fucking logo. So yeah, definitely didn't play so well on the actual leaderboard, but on the merch leaderboard, pretty high up in my book. So.
Hmm.
And we might as well shout out Hey Pando, top on the team here, gained 5,200 points. Looks like across PBs in 120, 70, and 16, and even got a 1 star PB. And oh, was that the one? I think they, if I recall correctly, I believe they got their 1 star PB and it wasn't recording, and they had to go back and just get the 1 star another one just to get it on the board.
Mm.
Hate it when that happens. So. But also, and I'll just mention before we can probably move on again, we're getting towards the bottom, there's not much to mention, but I know Sarah's lack of PB in 16 was not for lack of effort, because I was following her stream quite a bit for a league, and she was putting in run after run after run of attempts to try to improve that 1758. And so, again, we start seeing that it's not lack of effort for a lot of these people, it's just the game gets hard.
Not lack of effort. It's a skill issue.
It's a skill issue, exactly.
All
All
right.
right, no. So, yeah, shout outs to the Blonde Boys, and hopefully more merch next year. All right,
Yeah. Two
31st
more.
with the Cool Cat Coalition, coached by Saren Mew.
Saren's got his own tournaments to run.
Saren's got his own tournaments to run. Again, if you don't know Saren, huge member of the community. However, you're not familiar with Saren already, but might as well shout out Cryptic at the top of the team here with 6,000 points across 120 and 16 star with the
The
141.
141 is huge.
Yeah, 141, absolutely huge. I think everyone met Cryptic at pace, right? So everyone's kind of got
Yeah.
that
I mean,
connection. I think everyone's rooting.
he apparently has like a full-time job or at least a part-time job, and then he streams for like 6 hours a day. So I don't know how he does it, but that's kind of like alien to me, but very impressive. So
Yeah,
yeah, good for
absolutely
him.
crazy. And if I can check something for 2 seconds here, if I can pull up the Twitter. Oh no, was it? I believe I had Cryptic's profile pic somewhere for a while because I took it at pace. So I
Okay.
was the one that took it. So yeah, shout outs to me there, I guess. Moving on to Team 32. How do you pronounce that name? Sorry.
Desenig's Widows.
Desenig.
Oh
Thank you.
my god. Vitroncio, the 11th rank in the overall league, has scored about two-thirds of his team points.
Yeah,
Who would have
absolutely.
thought?
Absolutely insane. Seeing a lot of zeros on the leaderboard.
To Brazil. ADR can say that because he's actually from Brazil, I
Yep,
think.
yep. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
he's really good, but everyone else tried.
yeah. Tried, or not
Or
putting up a
didn't
lot of points,
try.
or didn't try. Yeah, you think it's probably a combination of the people who tried and didn't try here. A lot of zeros for our audio listeners. If you're looking at or if you can't see our board right now, a lot of zeros in front of us at the moment. So, but Vitrancio with rank 11 overall with 14,000 points. The 143 in 120, the 1551 in the 16 star, and the 819 in 1 star. Good for a lot of points.
Yeah.
All right, and that is the end of our league results. Don't go just
Woo!
yet. We have a few more things to kind of wrap up here. We're going to go over the predictions we made last episode early in the season. That won't take that long. We just have a couple of from each of us. And then we have THags coming on to talk about some of the final numbers and then just how the league went from the mods perspective. So we'll get that going, and then we'll wrap up. So shall we get on to predictions? I'm sorry I don't have more visual here for us. This is
Go
gonna be...
for it. I'm ready to
All
do
right.
whatever. I'm tired.
Alrighty, well, we'll get through this. This shouldn't take too long. First of all, I just want to say you had a prediction for the number one player. I'm not sure if you remember, and I
I
think
was wrong, but
you
well,
were wrong, but I think you got really freaking close for just considering like I didn't know who this was or how they were going to place at the time. You for number one player,
I
you had
Mauer.
Mauir, and they ended up in fourth place. So you
I
had a
think he
really
was
good
already
guess.
like fourth or fifth when I made the prediction. Like, I think he'll move up, and he maintained his spot. So I'm
Maintain his
like, hey,
spot.
good for him.
Hey,
But I
hey,
won't take any credit for predicting an already top five player to be number
I mean, that's all right. All right. Well, anyway, I still think that's good. People could easily
one.
trail off as well, and just not do
Yeah,
anything else. So, I think that's good. And then we both agreed when you tossed it out there that the number one team will be the Wholesome Chunguses, and so we can both take L's on that. But it seemed so promising at the time.
yeah. It was a well-deserved L because I mean, they still were insane, and Young Bucks totally had to go all out to take it from him at the very end. So yeah, great story, and no shame in losing that one.
No shame. Okay, and then moving on to my predictions then, and this is one you can tell when I had the green Sweegie just kind of excitement and hype running through my veins here was that I said that the winning team does not have green Sweegie on it because I was saying it's like oh he had just I think gotten all the points and gotten the world records. I was thinking playing in on some of that hype, but the winning fantasy team does not have green squeegee on it. And for the record, you agreed, and that is true. Lions team that we saw earlier in the fantasy results does not have green squeegee on it. So kind of an obvious one in kind of the aftermath, as we saw green squeegee top
Hmm.
player, but the league is set up so that doesn't necessarily run away with points. So. You and I both get our points there. We both get our W's there. I think a little bit anticlimactic, but that's okay. And then here was the more interesting one, I think, is my prediction. I said a team that was currently being back when we recorded episode 2 in the bottom 10 of the rankings will make the top 3. So for the record, those teams would have been Team Taustix, the Blonde Boys, the B Team, the Raging Cajuns, Overcooked, Team Tabascoth, Team Silly Goofy, the Mighty Fucks, the Yoshi Fan Club, and Dancing Diggs Widows. Those were the bottom 10 at the time. None of those teams made the top 3. I'm completely wrong about this.
I feel
Uh,
like there's a lot of early momentum. It's like the teams who are good in the first week will keep
yep.
going. The
Yeah.
teams who don't, it's like, well,
Yep.
they'll play, but they're not going to be like in the VCs all
the,
night
the Young
gaming.
Bucks accepted, it seems to be the case.
Yeah.
But that I was gonna say is not only did they not come in
Hmm.
the top 3 though, is that it didn't even come close. The closest I believe it was is that if you had taken Team Overcooked got 16th, and then the Mighty Fucks, my team got 17th. So teams that were in the middle, or I should say,
Wow.
those were the bottom 10 teams there. They moved up to basically about the middle or stayed at the bottom.
That's unfortunate, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know what? I think it's a good thing to take for just
It's interesting for going
next
forward for
time.
league, and I think yeah, because these patterns I think kind of reveal themselves more clearly over time. Osli's pointing out in chat, they said we were bottom 15 at that point, pretty sure. So if I had just changed my prediction around a little bit, could have had that, or if the points had been a little bit less front loaded. But I think that's interesting just to kind of take some big swings at it. There's no money in this, so why not take some big swings?
Yeah.
Um, and so that's the end of our predictions. And so I think it's now a good time to bring in THags as our guest to talk about kind of
Whoa.
some numbers from their perspective. So let's try to bring in THags. I wonder if I should have given them a heads up first or if I can just pull them right in. But I think they were paying attention, so
Pull him in.
we'll surprise them.
And then I was like, I just did carpetless. Got it. What do you
uh,
think of that story, T Hags? How I like convinced um Nindede to give me all his controllers and
I missed like 90% of that, but
I no, I'm just joking. I just made something up when you joined to be cringe.
yeah,
Welcome to the stream, my friend, and once again, thank you for all your work during the league. This is kind of like a T Hags appreciation moment.
It really is
So
absolutely
yeah,
master of the spreadsheet, which I think
take a
was
bow.
a focus. Basically, I had nothing else to like focus me for 2 months except for basically that spreadsheet. So shout outs.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, shout outs to all the mods, Sax, with basically doing the same amount of work on the spreadsheet as I am. So two very big factors in that spreadsheet. Larry, Kaiman, and all the other SRC moderators working their ass off
I was
during
gonna
the
say we
week.
should probably give a shout out to the verifiers and the SRC mods
Yeah.
as well. They that kind of power make this happen as well.
Yeah, they were quite busy this league. There was in total 1,415 PBs.
Wow.
That's just from the league alone.
Jeez.
So there's also a good amount of non-league PBs in there too. So they were quite busy. Definitely not a lot of games get that much traffic. Uh, so I mean, it's crazy how much activity the league saw. It was pretty much the same uh sort of activity as we saw from last league. Um, but last league had about 30 more people in it, so the fact that we kept pace was pretty cool to see.
That was cool. My favorite thing is because you were in the chair at the end of the league, that the little video showing kind of the whole top 10 kind of playing out, or top 8 or whatever playing out throughout the whole 2 months. And then my favorite thing was seeing the pause around like during the week of Pace, which was also a holiday week in the
Uh,
U.S., and just seeing it's like, okay, yeah, no, it's either the verifiers or the runners, probably a
eh,
combination of both. Yeah, a lot of them at Pace, aren't they? So.
yeah. I think it's a lot of good amount of the
Right,
moderators were at
right,
pace.
right. And I
So
think that's kind of how the league kind of tends to turn out. Though, is right in the middle is kind of the lull point because the excitement is super hype right at the beginning, and of course right at the end, everyone's trying to get their runs
yeah,
in. So I think that
yeah.
is kind of played it right into the natural course of things. I was gonna say you always make a change to the point system. How do you think the point system worked out this time? Do you think you'll make more adjustments going forward? Are you pretty happy with where it's at right now, or how'd that work out?
I mean, I think every league's going to be slightly different,
Hmm.
especially like the winter leagues where we do the
Yes.
category extensions and whatever. But I mean, I really liked the point system this year. I think we kind of uh found something really good with the combination of rank points, PPS, and the bonus points that we
Yep.
do for the lump sum.
Yeah.
Um, I think the rank points added a uh, different element when scoreboard watching,
Hmm.
especially the last week. Um, you did not know because the way the rank points were set up, every PB affected everyone's rank points.
Yes, yes.
So
I was
like
starting to figure that out towards I was like, oh wait, how does this set up? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so if you PB'd in a category, you could make the team above you lose points actually. So it was a really cool way to see people catch up and stuff like that. And I know a few teams lost places because they decayed in rank points,
Right, right.
um, which was also a cool thing. I think. Um,
It added a
uh,
little bit
uh,
of kind of unpredictability there. That was,
yeah,
it was straightforward, so it's not like it was going to go cause chaos, but like you couldn't exactly calculate it out. You just kind of had to put in your best effort and then see where the chips fall.
yeah, you could get a general idea, but you wouldn't
Right,
know the final outcome, uh, which made it pretty suspenseful.
right, right.
When we were cramming every last run in,
It also was
uh,
just
we weren't sure if if the Young Bucks were actually gonna pull ahead, and they did. But
yeah, that was
yeah,
incredible there. Yeah, it was fun. It added another set of leaderboards for me to check and be interested about to follow. Both where my performance was and all my friends, and like it was the only time I was going to be next to some good runners on some leaderboards, so I had to take some screenshots for sure. So,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
no,
I think
I think it worked out great.
another. Yeah. I think it worked out awesome. Another part that I really enjoyed was the kind of solution we had for 0 and 1 being weighted a little bit more than the other categories in terms of. I
Right.
mean, it can be, especially when you're like starting the categories, it can be easier to
Mhm.
PB and like 1 star especially than other categories just because it's so short and you can spam runs easy, not as much places to mess up. Even like in 16 star, like you could just get a ton more runs in. Um, the fact that we combined rank points for 0 and 1 made it uh, a lot more balanced. I feel like
Yeah,
there's
definitely.
definitely some more things we could do to balance it. But like I don't know, I was really happy with the way the point system turned out. And I think the other moderators were as well.
Yep, I agree. And like I said, it's going to be different every time as you just kind of tweak it toward the middle one. But this one for a league with more than 400 people in it, I think you did a pretty good job. So shout outs.
Yeah. And out of those 441 people that were in the league, we had um, just throwing some stats out there. 330 people actually get PBs. And then another thing that I thought was cool was almost exactly half of the player base was new from the last league.
Hmm.
Oh, really?
So
Wow.
yeah, we had over 220 new players from the last league join this league. So I mean that is really cool to see, like the um just the changing of players, and it just shows you like how how much new players can help get points. Like
Yes, yes.
everyone is important.
Everyone's important, and it's nice that I feel like this is a community that really has resources available for not only just the top runners, but like you have on Wikipedia, like there's the beginner's guide, there's a input display videos that are about the basic strats that they had get started and stuff, and so it's definitely not impossible. It's not just the same old faces because they're top runners who know what they're doing all the time. There's a path to improvement that I think is really really solid in SM64 in the community.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
So
man. All in all, I think this was by far my favorite league that we've done. I think everything went super, super smooth. Um, we kind of hit our stride like a couple days in, and we didn't really have to alter much. Um, there's a ton of back and forth in the league, surprise, a little bit of controversy early on when we had to kick someone out of the league,
oh my
but
God.
but all that was settled, and man, it was pretty hands off for the most part.
That's
The way we
that's
set it up was really good.
that's great. And then yeah, so again, just shout outs to the verifiers who again putting in the work I
Yes.
think to make a lot a lot of this really possible. So yeah. Any final words from the mods point of view? I'll just congratulate you on a successful season. Looking forward to future ones. Oh, and if you want to mention what the plans are for the Winter League, if there are
Yeah.
any so far, feel free to do that as well.
Yeah. So for the Winter League, we're kind of planning on doing a stage RTA league. The exact format isn't fully fleshed out yet, just a general idea. We'll figure out something. Um, but currently, the leaderboards for stage RTA only allow for N64. That's going to change to the emulator and VC as
Oh.
separate tabs on the stage
Excellent.
RTA
Excellent.
board.
That'll make people feel a lot better, I think.
Yeah. So one of the main goals of that league is going to be filling out the leaderboards.
Nice.
So
That's
it's
a good
going to
idea.
be it's going to be a fun way to fill out the leaderboards, and it's going to be practice for the next league. So
Right, right. Yeah, no, and I'm excited for that, and definitely signed up for the next like summer league too to get back in the main category stuff.
yeah,
So, awesome. Well, thank you for coming on and explaining things and giving us some of the wrap up numbers because I think everyone pretty much agrees it was a pretty successful league. It was fun seeing everyone who showed up at pace just because that added I think another fun dynamic to it. Like
yeah,
we got a team picture on my team at pace, which is just fun. Like how often do you get to do that? So. Um, yeah, just again, congratulations to you and of course all the mods.
yeah. And thank you guys for doing this podcast thing. It's really cool.
Yeah,
Have a
Thank
dedicated,
you.
well, dedicated kind of resource to watch
right,
throughout
right.
the week. So
Um, it's also nice. Let me just mention just as long as we're talking about the podcast itself is that I really like and I wish there was another spot to have like more community updates and things because that's one of my favorite parts about the podcast here, even though it's not about League specifically, is just there's always so much going on in the Mario community. It feels like it's just like here, sign up for this tournament's going on now. Here's what you can get at this store. Here's this restock's going on. Here's more blah blah blah. Just there's always something going on. So
yeah, I think yeah, the beauty of the league, in my opinion, is that especially for the summer league, um, it kind of slots in anywhere, like in
yep,
terms of what other tournaments are going on.
yes, yes.
Everything's gonna kind of mesh with it. Um,
Yeah,
and
summer's kind of
it's just gonna make each it's gonna make them both better.
yes, yes.
Like it's
Uh,
really cool to have simultaneous things going on at the same time.
oh
There's
yeah,
always something going on with Mario.
it
So,
was super fun with like the Club 100, especially during the LTA segments during the beginning of the tournament, being like, and all of these PBs also count for league and stuff. It's
yeah,
just it adds a multiplier effect towards it. So, alrighty, well, thanks for being here. I think Padronis and I are going to wrap up the
Yeah,
pod. There's
thank
not
you.
much else to say, but so just thanks for being here. Again, you have all the mods have our appreciation because you made it fun for pretty much everyone.
yeah, no problem. Thanks to everyone for participating and making it so big.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it's
can't. I
big.
every time I see the number of people in there, I can't believe it. So
Yep. Yeah, it's that spreadsheet has lots of rows in it, so
yeah, yeah,
cool. Well, Madronis, I think this is just back to you and I to basically take this out.
Yeah.
Do you have any final words? Are any thoughts, both personally about you and League, or you and Mario, or community, anything?
You know, I do not.
Well, all right then. Let me take the floor then, if you don't mind me just saying that. I just wanted to wrap up by saying this has been. I mean, we were just talking about it, but it was super fun to have like league and then pace and then like the tournament for like that I hosted, other tournaments all line up at the same time. It really made this, I think, the best summer of Mario I've ever had. By far, I was just really excited and just really motivated to hang out and see what other people were working on and just get to know people on my team at pace. So that just new people signed up in the tournaments and like and we did a lot. And I was happy you were by my side to do the podcast. That's because some new content I've never
Thank
tried to
you.
do
Thank
before.
you.
So I mentioned to you, I think in a DM, but I can mention it to it in front of everyone else. Is I really think you have the pulse of the SM64 community. So I'm really happy just to bounce ideas off you and get your thoughts. And that's why that was the start of this podcast. Was like, oh, well, I want Petros's thoughts on the league results and the draft results. So.
Thank
Um,
you.
Cool. So, and yeah, I just want to say I'm super motivated for Mario 64. I think I'll probably continue doing some offline runs and things on my nice PVM, like I said, and try to get my 70 and now 120 PBs down a bit. So, look out for yeah, I'm excited to sign for Winter League because, like, as TX was saying, that's just more practice for main league. So, cool. Well,
Absolutely.
well, that does it. Everyone, thank you for being with us all season long for Summer League Now, the SM64 Summer League podcast. Signing off for Badronis and myself. It has been super fun. I hope we get to do this again. It has been fun to talk about the community, about the league, about everyone's PBs, everyone's accomplishments. It's good vibes all around, and I hope we can do it again sometime.
Sounds good, dude.
All right, we'll figure out someone to raid and get the hell out of here. So thanks, everyone.
Bye bye.